Son shit, y'all ready?
I hope y'all are. This is a weird episode right here. I'm gonna tell y'all now. This is after Thanksgiving, so we did a food thing after Thanksgiving. And it was basically mac and cheese and, oddly enough, Aunt Jemima pancakes. The rumor is, I ain't gonna say the rumor, the story is Thomas Jefferson introduced the world, America, not the world, America to mac and cheese. They never tell you about the guy who actually was the cook. So that's how that goes. Then I transitioned over to Aunt Jemima. And there were so many different rumors on how Aunt Jemima started, but we explored that truth. And it becomes a thing where you start thinking about soul food. And you're like, yo, we brought something to the table as a people, and we don't really get that credit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that, not only does that start with the thoughts of after Thanksgiving, about Thanksgiving with the food, it also becomes a thing because black people, older black people, are on the pursuit. They stay on the hunt for some chitlins. And when when you're my age and younger or even older, I don't know what the cutoff is. I don't know where the cutoff is. I think I want to say it's probably not an age, it's probably a region thing. But the further north you get, the further west you go, the concept of chitlins and ham hocks and neck bones and all that, you ain't thinking about it like that no more. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a thing. I remember I was like, yo, think about liver. I was like, yo, I'm making up little goofy songs like liver, and make your body quiver. And oh, it tastes so. Somebody was like, oh snap, you eat liver? I was like, I haven't had liver since I was a kid. I haven't had chitlins since I was a kid. I haven't had neck bones and ham hock and all that since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? But and I was explaining, I was like, yo, the smell of some liver smothered with some onions, it will drive you wild. I don't eat it. The taste is a whole different thing. And it was the smell that made me as a kid go, oh my God, I gotta have some of this. Yo, yeah, throw some of that up on here, mama. Smashed on him like, I don't know what. I had no idea what I thought it was supposed to taste like. It just ain't taste like that. It was like, nope. Nah, I'm good. I'm good on this. Chitlins was a whole nother thing, because it was like, ooh, what is, no, you got to move that. Fatback. When you're a kid, it's the salt, and you know what I'm saying? Get a little older, you're like, this ain't really as dope as I thought it was. We outgrow a lot of that stuff, and I think, and it's not that we outgrow it, it's because the further up you, the further, I don't know how to say that. I guess the further north and west you go, and now there's a plethora, I don't know. There's a diversity in edible products. You know what I'm saying? That you can smash on. All of a sudden there's a gang of pastas and pizzas. There's burritos and tacos. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more things going on here. The Euros. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all of a sudden you got a gang of different food. But and here's the wild part. A lot of it still looks the same. There was a thing, somebody was like, yo, there's a cornbread salad. Looked it up and was like, that literally looks like a taco. Like, that literally looks like you just made a thicker corn shell for a taco. Like, that literally is, because it's the cornmeal, the yellow joint with the corn. Yes, but it looked like it had the beans, it had the salad stuff on it, had the chips, you know what I'm saying, diced tomatoes and all this, and then it had a little, like, dude, that's a taco just without the meat. That's what that really is that. Like, I know a taco when I see one. And that's what it is. Like, as you get older, you realize that there's a diversity of, like, there's a gang of food. Then there's poor people food. That's right. Not the struggle food. Like this thing where people like, oh man, you don't know about the struggle food. No. There's a struggle food and then there's poor people food. You know what I'm saying? That thing that you make that's supposed to last for half of the week. Like the struggle food, that's all. I had me a syrup sandwich. All right, cool. That's goulash is a whole nother thing. The various porridges, cream of wheat, oatmeal, grits. That's the poor people food. That's what they were eating during hard times. That's that. The big crock pot that's gonna last you for a minute. That's what you get into. It's no more that, oh, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do something totally different tomorrow. Now we got to make this meal stretch for a couple of days. That's the real struggle food. And I'm not gonna say black people had a monopoly on that, because like goulash is a different, like goulash is one of them joints, and that's a hungry, you know what I'm saying? Go figure, right? Goulash is the meal for poor people, and it originates from Hungary. That's the irony. But anyway, collard greens. We as black people, we associate collard greens with us. It's one of the more popular leaf cabbage family members that has been going down and been consumed prehistoric days. It goes back to the prehistoric days on the outskirts of Greece. Africans bring that to Jamestown, the leafiness, and they grow it and they eat it and they consume it. Them slave owners weren't thinking about that. Half of the stuff that they eat, slave owners weren't consuming that. You know what I'm saying? The gizzards, that's what we were given. Slaves were told to make do of the leftovers, and they did. What happens is somebody ends up eating it and going, ooh, can you make that for us? And it becomes a bigger thing than it needs to be. Now, I ain't gonna say that it needs to be. It becomes a bigger thing. It becomes worldwide now. It becomes something that is spread throughout the country. It becomes something that is global. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nobody gives us that credit. It's black people. Collard greens. You know what I'm saying? Ham hocks. Cabbage. The way cabbage is made differently. You know what I'm saying? There's just that uniqueness. It's a thing that is to us. We did that. We put that extra spin on a lot of stuff. We threw the extra splash on top of it and made it what it is today. When you think about America's food, when you think about American food, a lot of that traces back to Africans. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that traces back to Africans. And we're talking about a lot of stuff. We're not even just talking about regular dinner food and stuff like that. We're talking about real stuff. Potato chips is a black thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this goes back to us, and we don't get the credit. It gets attributed to the country. It's an American thing. And then all of a sudden, everybody kind of loses. Well, I don't know, but I know it's American. When they start saying, again, it goes back to when I was a kid and somebody was like, yo, when they start saying they don't know, or they know the name and you'll never see a picture, most likely it's somebody who wasn't white. I ain't saying it's black, but I'm gonna tell you one thing for sure, it was somebody who wasn't white. And that's the thing. Like, they'll tell you this stuff, and then they'll be like, well, I'm not quite sure. Some people really don't know, and other people do know, and then they just don't tell you what race that person is, because that becomes a whole nother thing. That becomes, we got to give credit where credit is due, and we don't want to give that credit because we have spent so much time telling these group of people that their accomplishments are little to none. And now it's like, yo, look at this great thing called the potato chip that is so great that another company like Pringles had to actually fall back and not call what they have chips, because Lay's was like, oh no, that's not potato chips. I don't know what that is. And then Pringles was like, yeah, they got us. Ain't no potatoes involved in these joints at all. It's like a weird potato paste, and we shape it, but there's no concept of potatoes at all. We just made up this mixture that gives it a potato taste. You got us. And so Pringles aren't even considered chips. I don't know what you call that. They're considered snacks. But it all falls into play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that becomes, like, to think that people know what's going on so much so that there's that piece of history that they will pushed to the side because they don't want to talk about it. Soul food just gets wrapped up in soul food. Nobody tells you anything else outside of that. Mac and cheese, and like I said, that becomes a thing. Mac and cheese, everybody gave Thomas Jefferson that without the guy who actually cooked, because Thomas Jefferson wasn't cooking that joint. You know what I'm saying? We talk about this differently. The concept of the barbecue chicken, the concept of the fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? Because before that, they weren't frying anything. Back in the day, everything was pretty much boiled and baked, rotisseried and baked. The concept of grabbing this hot oil and dipping and frying your chicken and boom, 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 that comes from people not really giving anything. They were already doing it with the other stuff that you go, yeah, that was good. Let's try like an actual whole joint. Oh, wow, that is very good. Make more for my family. Make some for our friends. Let's make this a thing. Boom. The struggle food then becomes a thing that everybody wants, a thing that everybody needs, a thing that everybody engages in. Pork chops. Nobody was actually eating pork chops. People were eating the whole pig. Like the cartoons where the pig got the apple in the mouth. That was it. To go, oh no, let me just slice this part and boom, there you go. That's a different zone right there. We don't get the credit for that. And I'm not saying black people came up with that. I'm just saying the way that it's cooked, the way that a lot of things, and let's be real, black people may have not come up with a lot of things, but the way that it's known today falls back into slaves did that. Slaves figured out, oh, well, let's boom, let's do this. Okay, oh yeah, that's good. That's dope. Continue to do that. And that becomes a thing. And then all of a sudden, it becomes a thing so much that the origin of where it started somehow gets forgotten. Nobody can recall all of a sudden. And that's the vibe of that. That's all I'm saying. Like, in America, it seems to be is very cool at selective memory, selective credit. You know what I'm saying? We give credit sometimes, but we don't, you know what I mean? And that's all that this episode is saying. Like, yo, let's talk about this and let's talk about that. And then you open the door to so much more. Because again, this country is built on the concept of soul food. You know what I'm saying? And when you're down south, that kind of is your thing. But when you go further up and further out, everybody now, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't eat it as much. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because that's a thing, I think that becomes a thing of origin. Like, Mexicans who want to get away from being Mexicans don't eat Spanish food as much. You know what I'm saying? Italians who want to be seen American and less Italian American kind of distance themselves from Italian meals. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a thing. Like, black people going, I want to distance myself from some of this soul food. It's the same thing. It's like, there's a stigma that comes with that, and a lot of times you just distance yourself. Even if we know the cultural significance, even if we know the cultural history that goes behind it, there's still a piece of us that's like, Not to mention, you also get to the point where you're like, it's not good for the body, and you know what chitlins is. You're like, I can't be eating that. I can't eat that. Ugh. And I'm not even gonna take it to a whole nother level on some stuff that brothers, especially brothers be out here putting their mouth on. But I'm just saying, it's like, I can't be eating that. But yeah, all right, cool. We understand that, but we also understand the history of it. And nobody, and I definitely am never one of those people who goes, I'm not saying, you shouldn't eat that. Because again, I understand there's generations of people, that's what they lived off of. And a lot of those people still live to be like 80 and 90 and 100. Dudes is out here eating McDonald's and dying at 25. As unhealthy, as nasty as you know where the chitlins come from, they still living. Great-great-grandma still here. My man up the street died at 30-something with clogged arteries or whatever because he was out here consuming McDonald's like all day, every day. McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, and you know what I'm saying? He was out here smashing on a milkshake. And I don't know where he would get that from. He probably had to go to Dairy Queen for a milkshake because McDonald's milkshake they joints is never open. Anyway, clogged his whole joint up. The Kentucky Fried Chickens, the Taco Bell, all the stuff that isn't even real food most of the time. Yeah, that non-real food, fast food tobacco is what messed him up. Grandma out here eating something that you shouldn't be eating, but grandma's still here. My man gone. So for me to say what you shouldn't eat and shouldn't eat is not a thing. We talked about one of the last episodes, beans, corn, all of that comes from the Native Americans, and we all bring it together, and that's how it becomes an American thing, because they take everything, mesh it together, and then put their stamp of this is ours on top of it. Like, yo, this is us. We did this. We got this. Remember like a few years ago, China was obsessed with American Chinese food because they were like, oh no, we don't eat that over here, but that looks good. By the way, that tastes good. We don't do that. Like, you never see that over. We're not eating that. What is y'all talking about? Who told y'all that that's what we eat over here? Nah. I mean, it's kind of good, but no, that is not what we were raised on. It's Americanized. That's how that goes. That's what that is. It's Americanized. Like, Taco Bell was created by, what was it, Tom Bell? No, Glenn Bell. Here's the wild part about Taco Bell. Glenn Bell's mom is English and his father was German. There's no Mexican in that at all. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. My man was like, I'm gonna make a Mexican dish. My background is English and German. Nobody cares. There's not one person that's gonna go, oh no. And even Mexicans go to Taco Bell. Stop and think about that for a minute. That's the craziness in American history. Somebody's looking that up right now too, like Taco Bell. Oh snap, Glenn Bell. Oh snap, this dude was a white guy. Like, nothing was Mexican about that. That's all I'm saying. That's my point. Like, it's weird, right? But anyway, that's America. That's the way America works. And then it becomes an American institution. And nobody thinks twice. This is what this episode is about, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. East Coast, West Coast, worldwide, Lost Boys. Thank y'all for rocking with me on this. Let's get into this episode. Let's go. Yes. Hey, look. We ain't did the Universal Soul joint for a minute, so I had to like throw some joints out there, get a little foreign with it. You know what I'm saying? But yo, it is what it is. And yo, you know how we get down, man. This is what we do. Get y'all in the head with them bangers. That's how we get down. Word up. Live at the Oasis. Legal Crime Radio. You know how we do, man. Hey, and it's that time of the night where we talk that talk and give y'all that wild history. You know what I mean? Oh, wait. Check this out. Here's a thing, and it happened. Thanksgiving Native American joint, right? So we do that. Somebody said, you know how you always got history joints jumping. So somebody was like, yeah, Thomas Jefferson brought mac and cheese to him. You know what I'm saying? It's who made mac and cheese famous in America. Because as he was president, he would invite people over. He'd give a mac and cheese, and everybody rides with that. That's the consensus, right? All right, cool. My thing is, when I was growing up, we was taught black dude made it. Slave, that was actually it too. It was like, yo, a slave made that joint. You know what I mean? Like a slave. A slave is the dude who gave the world mac and cheese. That was the way it was brought to me. That was the way we heard about it. That was the way it was pushed down, like handed down to us as we were growing up. Like, yo, slaves did that joint, son. That's why black people love it so much. You know what I mean? So going through the process of life, it's just one of them things you kept in your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, even knew the name of the dude. You know what I'm saying? It was like, all right, cool, yeah. Slaves did that. That's what's up. You know, we had it out there like that. So it's like, all right, right. Now, fast forward again, holidays is popping and everybody's like, yo, boom, boom, boom. And as I'm telling y'all this, I realized as I let the music play, I did not do the official. So let's do it like this. Take it from the top. See, this is why you need to take it from the top sometimes. Take it from the top. Take it from the top, like this moment in black history. And yeah, don't stop. And yeah, well, yo, now, cause I done already said most of this joint, right? Anyway, acting like ain't none of that happened. Let's do it this way. Yeah, we be out here wilding out. Anyway, man, the whole concept was that Thomas Jefferson, you know what I'm saying, gave the world like mac and cheese. And it's like, all right, cool. Is that real? So then you realize, like I said, the way we were taught, it was a black dude. So I'm like, yo, I knew the dude's name. It was James. That's all I ever knew, James. You know, and it was wild because when you're a kid, that just sounded like the most coolest black thing in the world. Like his name could have been Otis, and we would have just been like, yo, Otis made mac and cheese. We were like I'm a quarter right to it. People who say that Thomas Jefferson brought it to America, there's the fact that my man was a slave. Here's a story about this right here. James Hemings was an actual slave, but, and I say this like this, it's the warpness of our history, but he was a chef. So I don't know if y'all seen Hamilton. Hamilton tells you Thomas Jefferson was over in France for a while, you know what I'm saying? And he goes, and I forgot the song, and if I say the song, somebody gonna be like, oh, you said it wrong. I don't care. Cause yo, salute to the dude who did the Hamilton joint. But anyway, he was in France. He liked what my man was doing so much that he brought him with him. Now, here's the wild part. The more I look this stuff up about this brother, bring the beat back. The more I look this up, my man wasn't really a slave though. Like back then, he wasn't a slave. He wasn't like in France, he really wasn't out here slaving. He came over, you know what I'm saying? Like, he learned how to cook the dish, and like he was a chef. He was an actual chef. You know what I'm saying? Like, it won't like back in the days a slave. He won't one of them slaves. He was a chef. He had culinary skills. You know what I'm saying? He had the hat, the big old hat like the dude from Chef Boyardee and the Muppets and all that old, yo, he had the hat. I'm playing, I don't know what he had. Anyway, comes to America, he's a slave. Thomas Jefferson's like, yo, make this dish. He starts, this dish actually found this way, the recipe found this way in a Virginia magazine, cooking magazine, years later, as my man came out here to America. This is wild, because again, this is the part that people don't tell you. You know what I'm saying? He brought the recipe, and he was like, yo, I like what you're doing, and it's dope. The Virginia Housewife magazine, written in 1824, published the recipe. And it's like, yo, but we always hear about Thomas Jefferson. We never hear about James. And it's like, yo, let's give James that respect. You know what I mean? But the dish itself, mac and cheese itself, dates back to the 14th century. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? France. That's so, you know, and people be like, yeah, this is American, this is mac and cheese. That's a French dish, just to let y'all know. You know what I mean? But it was like, yo, that was a wild piece of history. Now, here's a double piece. I'm gonna hit y'all off with a two piece. Hit you with the 2-piece, no biscuit, have you feeling scared. So Pacific how he do it right there. Yeah, y'all be looking like, he don't. I'm playing. Let me stop doing that. Y'all know they took Aunt Jemima off the boxes, right? I feel bad saying that, like they took, and people be out here tripping like, yo, Aunt Jemima was. So, growing up, another one. Growing up, the story was Aunt Jemima was a black chick who came up with this cooking thing, and the pearl milling people was like, yo, I like what you're doing. Let's make you the star, and you can be the face of it. Nancy Green. Now, here's the thing about Nancy Green. Nancy Green didn't have anything to do with making that joint, but she was the face. You know what I'm saying? She was a slave, got her freedom. She was paid, and she had a lifetime contract to be Aunt Jemima. She only did it for 20 years, but she had a lifetime contract. Her people have been suing because they had the likeness of her. She died. She died, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, her, like, look, let me tell y'all, look, check this out. 1834 to 1929 is how long Nancy Green was alive. We know they just stopped throwing the blackface on that joint like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Like during the pandemic, they just slid that off. Like, yo, like we remember when they had the scarf, then they had the other scarf with the weird mammy look, and then they had it with the perm, then they had it out here with the whole like velour jacket, and you know what I'm saying. Then they had the other joint where she had the low cut. You could see like some of her bosoms. You could see what they call that joint when you see. What do they call that? I forgot what you call that. What do you call that? When you see the I don't know what you call that. The breastises. I don't know what you I don't know. But you saw them joint. You saw the little neckline and then the little boobs is out. You're like, oh snap, they kind of gave a little, then they, you know what I'm saying, every once in a while, like on the back of the box, they had a whole body, and you're like, oh snap, Aunt Jemima got a little fatty back there. Okay, all right. I know, look, when you're young and dumb, you don't know no better. You just out here like, oh my God, Aunt Jemima got a fatty. Miss Butterworth got a fatty too, not realizing that's just the jaw. That's not, like, I thought Miss Butterworth was black too. Then I realized maybe Miss Butterworth was white, like the grandma from Looney Tunes. Who knows? Looney Tunes lady had a fatty for whatever. You know, when you super young and horny for no reason, you just start looking at everything oddly. So like, my mom used to just be like, yo, JJ ain't that funny. Why you always watching Good Times? Huh? JJ? Oh, yeah, JJ. I'm looking at them, huh? JJ, get out of here. I'm looking at Thelma and Malona. I ain't care nothing about, like, matter of fact, half of the time, if they weren't on the screen, I was doing something else. I was like drawing or something, reading a book. Then as soon as I heard her voice, I boom, put the book down and be like, boy, God dang. Anyway, that ain't what we here to talk about. Nancy Green. Nancy Green's family now sues because they was like, yo, y'all still using my grandmama, great-grandmama, great-great-grandmama's likeness. But the way she got the gig was she actually would go to places and cook the meal, like show people how to make the pancakes with the joint, right? Do little singings and songs and just basically shuck and jive it up. You know what I'm saying? And tell people how cool it was for slaves. That is mind-blowing because she was a former slave, so I'm just like, yo, for real. But anyway, the money was good, I guess. Lifetime contract. She stops in 20 years. It's wild how like our food has these other histories to it. You know what I'm saying? And I know somebody out there heard about the hush puppy thing. Like, yeah, and they did. That's not a thing. That is not a thing. It was something, but it wasn't hush puppies. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds good though. It sounds really great. It sounds like a good story. That is not how the hush puppies came about. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you ask me, did black people make hush puppies? I will say probably. If you ask me, like, was it like that? I'm gonna say nah. You know what I'm saying? Black people made everything. Things that they are actually paying people to make in these restaurants are now delicacies, like neck bones, chitlins, liver, all that stuff that we, you know what I'm saying? Fatback, all that. Started out from slavery because you were allowed to only have the leftovers, and they made meals out of it that then got handed down generation to generation to generation, and that's just a whole nother thing. But you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. This is how we do. This is how we get down. Get at me on the twit. Black Seeds, BLACK_CEEZ. Get at me on the gram. Y'all know who I am. Black Caesar Son. BLACKCEEZARSONN. Facebook. Live at the Oasis. You can hear these joints on hearthis.at. We got joints on Mixcloud. We got joints on SoundCloud. Maybe, I don't know. YouTube, Daily Motion, Hulkshare, Vimo, not the one VEMO joint, the VI. Anyway, don't worry about it. You hit this right here, you get this beautiful, great black content right here. Like, I sound like somebody who be on social media. I got that crazy black content. We get this right here on Our World, Our Time, the podcast joint, where we just take these segments and we rock you in the head like, yeah, over that nice Luther. I'm so glad ain't nobody ran up on me about this Luther. Like, Luther don't want you. Like, Luther dead. Luther been dead for like over 10 years. Stop playing. Luther don't want nothing. Man, Luther wants peace. Get out. Stop talking about Luther. Anyway, this is what we do, man. This is how we get down. This is that moment. We get back into this music. Boom. I couldn't find a joint with my man O&O rhyming over the crabs in the barrel beat. But I did find an ultimate classic joint that me and him did with the back and forth, which is a whole nother story. When I hear about how rappers do back and forth rhyming, where it's usually one dude who writes the whole joint and tells the other dude to cut in, we ain't had no idea that that's how that worked. But still, to actually do the whole rhyme took about 10 minutes. And not because it took that long, it was just more or less the pause, next person come up, boom, 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 pause, next person. The pause and stop took more time than it did to come up with the rhyme. But anyway, this is what we do, man. Let's get into what we do. Live at the Oasis Legal Crime Radio. Let's get down like this, y'all, and like that, y'all. That's my time. Hey, look, that right there was I'ma say take Tayc. French dude. I know when y'all first heard it, y'all was like, yo, what is he saying? Then y'all thought y'all heard some American English. Y'all was like, yeah. Then y'all like, nah, he ain't saying nothing that's in English. What am I doing? I'm riding, though. I'm vibing. This is what we do, man. This is how we get down. My time up. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. And, then look, here's the wild part. Then, so, like, I told y'all about the dishwasher. Then the remote and the cable box, they uncompatible all of a sudden. Like, they broke up. They ain't in a relationship no more. I can't get the cable to work because then the remote don't work. It worked for the smart TV part, but it don't work for the cable box. So it's like, it's all good because most of the outside of Fox, everything else is streaming. So you can go to Paramount and watch the football game. Look, that's why the cable about to get shut down, because I can watch the joint on Paramount. I can watch the other joint on Peacock or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Outside of ESP, but we know how we talking about. We talk that talk. Anyway, man, I'm going to get ready to get up out of here and try to figure some stuff out and do what we do, because we gangsters out here. Not for real. We too old to be gangsters. It comes to a point where you can't be gay. Like, even when you want to, like, choke the living life out of somebody, you just like, I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see grandkids. Like, dudes who still be, like, 40 and 50 out here wilding out, you be like, yo, son, they gonna give you 20 years. Like, everything gone. Grandkids don't know who you are. They're like, who is this dude knocking at the door? Like, who are you? That's your grandfather. Papa. So who's the other dude that grandma with? What? That's how you found out, too. That's how you found out. You found out that way. Because grandma stopped, like, your shorty stopped hollering at you for a while. Like, and then when she do holler, she keep it short with you. You know, like, so how everything good? Everything good, I gotta get it ready to go. Bloop, bloop. Like, hold on, you accepted that just to tell me that? Then you gotta, like, you knock on the door, you being all cordial at your people's crib, at your kid's crib. And like, well, who that dude? Who the cat that was with grandma in? We call him Papa. What? And it's always like a total opposite of you. You know what I'm saying? Dark-skinned dude, it's a light-skinned dude, or it's a white dude, or it's a Spanish dude. You know what I'm saying? If you're a tall dude, it's a short dude. If you're a fat dude, it's a skinny dude. If you're a skinny dude, it's a fat dude. And I ain't talking about like chubby. I'm talking about like Fat Albert, obese. He can barely breathe. The clumps, he out here, everything. He sound like Biggie Smalls. You know what I'm saying? Oh, how you doing? Like, nah, for real? Nah. then you realize, like, you go through the house and you're like, hold on, a lot of this is still the stuff we had when we were together. Well, it was good. I won't gonna get rid of it. Like, so yeah. Slow down, man. Don't be out here just choking people out. Think about the future. I believe the children are our future. Anyway, man. See, look, that's the sound right there. Don't put baby in the corner. Bring it back one more time. We go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and we like. They say you only live once. That's a lie. You only die once. So anytime that your God allows you to get out here and continue your journey, please stay positive, because doing time when you get to a certain age is not cool. Knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Y'all stay safe. Peace. Don't act like y'all don't remember them joints. Yeah.
This is a Soul of Art presentation.